Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
Alright guys, this week, because we are at the X Hangar, which is X Overland's shop in Montana, we thought it would be a great time to bring you a question and answer video. So we put it out on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and we got a lot of questions. So that's awesome. We're excited to do this. So let's jump right into the first question. The first question is about finding camp spots. How do you find camp spots? Do you pre-plan? Do you schedule everything? And if not, what happens if your plans don't work out or if you can't find a spot? So that's a really good question. We run into that sometimes. So to answer that, I'll break it up into two categories, or a couple of categories. One, if you're in the wilderness, you're way up in the mountains or something, then you can pretty much camp wherever you want. If it's an area that has dispersed camping. We usually look for a fire ring, and then we know somebody's been there before us and it's a great spot. But we've also created our own. So if you get somewhere and you can't camp there, you just carry on. And you've seen us do that in some videos, just hunting for a spot. But I think this question is more about when you're in an unfamiliar place and you've prepared for a camp spot. Say we found something on iOverlander on the app or one of the other apps, and we get there and the gate's locked, or someone else is there, or it's just not in a good area. And it's starting to get dark. So that's a bit of a scary thing, especially when we were first starting out, and we've kind of developed plan A, B, and C for that. So plan A doesn't work out, it's getting dark, where are we going to camp tonight, where are we going to stay? You carry on and keep looking, that's the first thing. And if that fails, we always have in our back pocket the KOAs. Campgrounds of America, we have their app and they have campgrounds all over the place. And we say, oh, there's a KOA nearby, we could just shoot off and camp there. Even if we arrive at 3 o'clock in the morning, they have late check-in, and we just pop up our camp in one of their tent sites, and in the morning you pay and you carry on. And then while we're there, we take advantage of the showers, and we do our laundry, and we maybe upload a video with the Wi-Fi. So that's kind of something that gives us the confidence that we know we pretty much always will be able to find a spot if we kind of get caught in a bad situation. If there is no KOA around, the final plan C is you can always find either a hotel or a motel to spend the night, and then do a bit more research in the morning. So that's kind of how we handle it. We haven't had to do the hotel motel thing hardly at all, and the KOA option is just something nice to have in our back pocket. So quite a few of the questions were about the bikes that you guys saw on Instagram. The boys were posting some brand new adventure bikes. I'm sure you have questions about that, so to get the answers directly from the source, hit pause on this video right now, click the link that's in the description, which is a link to the boys' brand new channel, The Adventure Guys. You're going to want to subscribe, and you're not going to want to miss a single adventure. They only have the one video on there right now, but they're going to be posting on a regular basis. First of all, the building out of their bikes, the acquiring of the safety gear, taking safety training, and then hitting the trails with the Epic Family Road Trip. It's going to be awesome. Next question is about camping in bear country and dealing with food and so on. So we're very careful to clean up our food scraps, leave nothing behind. We store everything in bear-proof containers. If there is any food scraps, Lando cleans them up carefully. And the other thing about having a dog in bear country, if he's up in the tent with us, his nose is going 24/7, and he can smell a bear before, at the same time they can smell us, and so he will alert and make noise, and they probably won't bother us. In fact, there's another question about bears and have we ever had any close encounters, and the answer to that is no. We've seen them cross our path. We've woken up in the morning and gone for a hike and seen fresh grizzly tracks near the camp. But thankfully, so far, we've been so bear careful that they haven't been enticed to come into camp. They're not going to try to get into a human area if they can help it. The only thing that would do that is being attracted by food. So being bear aware, learning everything you can about bear good bear practices is a must before you go camping up there. And we never let our guard down. We're not saying, oh, we've done a great job so far, we're gonna relax on it. We have to be extremely bear aware all the time. And so it's just one of those things. You can't live in fear about anything in life, or you'll just hide in your basement. So yes, there's bears out there, yes, they're dangerous, but get out and have fun and be careful and you'll be all right.
So one of the questions I got is one that I get quite often, and that is, where do I see myself in the next 5 years? And I find this one just so hard to answer sometimes, just because I have so many goals and plans and dreams and things that I want to accomplish and achieve, and that I'm going to be working towards and that I'm working on now. And some of those things I'm super excited to share with you and will be sharing with you guys in the near future, so stay tuned for those. But yeah, I have so much that I want to do, and it's so hard to kind of get into the details on here, but honestly, in the next 5 years, I see myself probably married and hopefully, Lord willing, starting my own family and working alongside my husband and just continuing to do what I love, hopefully, almost certainly doing something in filmmaking because it's what I'm really passionate about, and yeah, and hopefully also doing as much overlanding as possible. Who knows what that will look like in the next 5 years, but doing that as much as possible. So I get this question a lot as well, and that is, where do I sleep in our setup? I feel like I've shown it a few times, but not enough. I haven't really explained it because you only really see in our videos a lot of the time us setting up our tents, and that's where my brothers sleep and my parents sleep in another one. But I don't often show where I sleep. I definitely want to do it more and show you guys how it works and what my setup is. But basically, in the back of one of our Jeeps, we have a 60% seat delete and then a goose gear bed platform. And then on that bed platform, I've put a little mattress, and then I sleep mainly with my sleeping bag and a pillow. But a lot of the time just with a normal duvet and pillow, and it's super comfortable. I used to sleep in a rooftop tent, which I love, but this just, having that little space allows me to also not only sleep there, but have a place to work and read and just spend time by myself, and it's really nice. So this next question is one of the hardest to answer, and it is, which is the best place you have ever been to on your journey? And this is so hard because the longer I think about it, the more amazing places come to mind, and I love all of the different places we've been to for different reasons, so it's just so hard to choose. But one place that I always think of, and that is just such a memorable place that we've been to, is New Zealand. And now when I get into New Zealand, I could go deeper and get into more detail about all the specific places we've been to and why I loved each of them. But in general, New Zealand, so far, but I also love so many places in North America. I'll just choose New Zealand. New Zealand was incredible, and I would go back there in a heartbeat. It was such an incredible experience, and I highly recommend, if you have the opportunity to go there one day, to do it. It is just one of the most incredible, epic, beautiful places on earth. So New Zealand.
Okay, so one of our first questions is, are the kids going to stay with Jeep, or are they going to try something else, meaning try another vehicle? And we can definitely answer yes, at least me and Dan. We got two 2021 KTM 690 Enduro Rs. That's going to be our new mode of travel. Still going to be a convoy with the two Jeeps, but that's how we're going. All right, this question says, sooner or later these young adults will have their own channels, or will they have their own channels? And yes, actually Dan and I just launched our own channel called The Adventure Guys. We're really excited to be doing this, and it's something we've been planning for a long time. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
So the next question is, why is Dan always barefoot in the videos? And that has a very simple answer. I just like to run around in bare feet. Anytime we're in a hot place or somewhere where I'm allowed to be in barefoot, I usually will be.
All right, this question is, how do you store food in bear country? And do you take the refrigerators out and put them back in at night? No, the refrigerators we have mounted on their own slides, and they always stay in the Jeeps unless we take them out to clean them. They're tight within a locked vehicle, so they don't really give out any scent. Another thing we do is just be very bear aware when we're in those areas. We don't cook and leave a mess. We don't leave trash or garbage around. And then Lando's food, we obviously have dog food. That's something that can attract bears. We keep it in an ammo crate, Army surplus ammo crate, and it's sealed tight, and a bear couldn't open that thing. All right, so we've gotten a whole lot of questions about dating and social life as teenagers. Those are two important things to people. For us, we just don't think about, especially dating right now, we're working on our family business, we're working on our family channel, you know, we're traveling all the time creating content and really just experiencing the world, and that's where all of our focus is 110%. That's what's important to me and Dan and John right now. But as far as social interactions, we have a ton. We've met people all over the world. Everywhere we've ever been, you meet tons of really nice, awesome people who become your friends, and it's not just that one friend circle you have from school or from anything else that you would, you know. We've really broadened that to places everywhere.
All right, next question. Habs or Leafs? This is critical. Let's go with Leafs. Being from Ontario originally, we're going to have to stick with that. Will you explore the east coast of the United States? Absolutely. We've been down the coast and back up several times, but we feel like we have a lot more exploring to do. There's so many amazing regions that we haven't explored yet, so yes. Are you thinking about coming to South America? The answer is yes. Their plans are in the works, and we'll let everyone know when we finalize those, but the answer to that is yes, we can't wait. What are your top 3 favorite places to camp in Ontario? To be very honest, we have a place on a lake. We have a cabin on a lake in Ontario, so when we finally get home, we tend to put our feet up and just relax around the cabin, and we don't end up going camping much because that in a way is camping. But so the truth of the matter is we probably camped the least in our own province. So but that being said, we have gone to some amazing places. Last year we went to a place called the End of the Road. It's north of Pickle Lake, Ontario. So you go right to the end of the road, and the road basically ends at a lake, Wendigo Lake. So check that out, and there's all kinds of great places to camp along the way. And then there's a lot of crown land, so just look on various maps or get the Backroads maps of Canada, and you'll find some really remote places and even just lakes that you can pull up and set up camp. Top places in Europe you would like to visit? I would love to go see where my parents were born in the Netherlands. That'd be kind of first and foremost. My sister lives in Germany. I'd love to visit her, and then everywhere else.
Yes, everywhere.
The mountains, Switzerland and Austria and Germany and France, and then yeah, we'd go over to Eastern Europe, go all the way up into Russia would be cool, and then down Scandinavia, down the coast of Norway. So yeah, lots of places to go there. Soft shell or hard shell?
That's a hard one because I like both of them. I really like both of them. But I would have to kind of lean more now to the hard shell just because it's so easy to put away and set up.
Yeah. And I have a review of our new hard shell tent, which I'll put a link to for you.
Oh, what do you do about going to the bathroom in the middle of the night? We kind of cut off, like, you know, our water intake and different things like that kind of early on, especially as girls. Or I wake up Peter and have him come down with me because I might be afraid of something.
Especially in bear country.
Yeah. But yeah, that's normally how we do it. The boys have come up with other ways of doing it, but you know, for me, I'll go down the ladder and do it. So.
It's one of those things. It's awesome to be in a rooftop tent, but yeah, if you have to go pee at 3 in the morning, it's such a pain. Okay, what is the most challenging part of being on the road full-time of Jeeps?
I think trying to find internet so that we can upload.
Yeah, that's always a challenge. For me, it's times when we're not moving on a regular basis. So if we're, for whatever reason, we have to sit still in one place, especially in 2020, that was a challenge. That's not why you become a full-time traveler, to just sit still in one place. So I don't mind sitting still for a while, or you know, we're visiting people or we're working on a project, but if we have to sit in one place for a long time, can't stand it. Then you might as well have a house. In which country would you love to travel in? All of them.
Yes.
How much longer do you, as a family, see yourself continuing to travel together? We have no plans in that one way or another. Nobody's saying, well, I'm going to do another year or whatever. It's just, we're just going with the flow, and we'll see what the future brings. But we love what we're doing right now. Besides the American continent, where are you guys looking to overland next? Or besides the Americas, so that would be because South America is probably next. We're just working on the plans. So besides North, South, and Central America,
Africa.
yeah, it depends on countries opening up and everything and how that all happens. But yeah, Africa's definitely on the list, and Australia would be a continent that we'd love to
Go
do.
back to.
Yeah, what do they call it? The lap. We'd love to do the entire lap. What are those cool neckerchiefs called? Those are called schmogs, and we'll try to put a link below where you can get yourself one. They're great in the desert and in all kinds of weather conditions.
Where are you guys off to next? I think we want to explore a few states we haven't spent much time in. Because we're always in off season normally, we're really excited about spending the summer in Montana, Oregon, Colorado,
Wyoming. The Rocky Mountain states.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan so far.
What cameras are you guys using, and how are you storing everything? So we have a couple of cameras that we use, everything from a smaller vlog style. Let me grab it. These little Canon cameras on GorillaPods are very easy to use more in a vlog setting. We have GoPros, action cams, and Canon 1DX is like our main go-to for photography and really high quality video. All right, so what homeschool program or style does or did your family use? So the everyone's graduated except Dan is he graduates later this year, next year. But what we used was what we call World School. A couple of things. World School or Road School is the education the kids get while traveling, and that is the best education you get. The people they meet, the experiences they have, the places they see. But we followed the curriculum from where we're originally from Ontario, and so we were able to get an online program called ILC, an Independent Learning Center, and that just allowed them to follow that curriculum. There's a lot more options now than when we started, so just do some research, look around. There's homeschooling options everywhere, and especially with 2020 when a lot of kids were doing school online. And for a lot of kids, they can't handle it because they're actually not doing it. No one's watching over them. They're just kind of sitting there playing games or whatever. But in a family setting on the road, you can give them the best education they'll ever get. Have you ever considered a Mount Whitney summit trip? We were just down in that area and we could see Mount Whitney in the distance, and we thought that'd be an awesome trip. And so yes, we've considered it. We're in the process of getting into shape so we can do more mountain hiking like we've done in the past, so yes.
Are both Jeeps Rubicons? No.
No, Worsley's a Rubicon and Vandy is a Sport Wrangler. So they've all had massive modifications underneath, but no, they're not both Rubicons. We love some of the extra features that come with the Rubicon though. Future plans for Vandy: will you be at the Overland Expo Mountain West? And do you have any fall 2021 trips planned? So, future plans for Vandy. Vandy, as you know, has been all over the place and is getting older. We just did a massive amount of repairs. And I saw another question about this as well, so I might as well address it. The other question was, are you getting worried about the cost of ongoing repairs for an older vehicle? And but we don't want to get rid of Vandy because we have such a history with that Jeep. So if anything, we'd retire Vandy and maybe leave it at our cottage for a vehicle to be able to go back and forth with, you know, shopping and things like that. But for now, she's doing well and going strong, and we plan to continue with the 2 Jeeps and the 2 motorcycles. Top tips, please, for rooftop tenting in the wind. We actually don't mind wind at all, but we've been with people camping, or we've heard from a lot of people that just can't stand the wind. It keeps them up, or whatever the issues are with wind. It actually lulls us to sleep, so we don't mind the wind at all. These clamshells are a lot more wind stable. You can park nose into the wind. If you've got a steady wind direction, just nose into it and the wind will go right over you. If you're using a soft shell tent, just batten down the hatches and put out all your window, the pegs that hold your windows out, put those out. They're designed to kind of move in the wind. We always thought, you know, maybe it would be less if we didn't put those out, less wind noise, but it actually is more. They flap and it beats against the side of the tent. So put all your window pegs in, stake everything down, We don't often stake down our rooftop tents, and we've had it blow over in the wind and things like that. But if you're worried about it, stake it down. For us, wind is not a problem.
Would you guys ever consider a full-size truck for the adventures you are doing? Yes. Right now we're in kind of the process of just looking around, seeing what's out there, looking at other people's builds and rigs. We haven't made up our minds about anything, so it's kind of been fun to just keep an open mind and look around at everything that's out there.
Yeah, and we might get a chance to take one out with a slide-on camper, and so we'll bring videos to you of what we think about them and how we like them. But yeah, full-size trucks for a lot of our friends seem to be a great option. This question is, do you have a home base? So we consider our cabin on the lake our home base in Ontario. So yes, but you know, things have been weird the last year and we haven't been able to get up there much, but we'll call that our home base. So we travel as much as we can. We usually are chasing summer, getting away from the snow, and then when the ice melts off the lake, we get back up there as often as we can.
What do you like least about nomadic life? I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't really thought about things I don't like least. I try and just stay focused on all the things that I'm thankful for, that the opportunities, the time we get to spend together, and the places we get to see. So I just probably I don't focus on that, just the things I'm thankful for. So.
Yeah, and I can't think of anything offhand other than any time that we have to sit still in one place for a long period of time.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Then we're no longer being moving. So, okay, with everything going on in this crazy world, has it changed how you overland? Yes. 2019 was probably the best year ever, and everything was just moving along and just going so great. And it was the accumulation of everything we had worked towards, and then 2020 hit. Now, January and February weren't bad. We were doing everything as normal. Then March hit, and then everything changed for us. So yes, it's been crazy, but the beauty is things are coming back to normal. We're in Montana, and it seems like like nothing ever happened, and we've wiped it clean out of our mind. But back when there were restrictions, you know, in 2019, we never dreamed that our freedoms to cross borders would be restricted. We never foresaw a scenario in which that would happen. So it didn't cross our mind. And then all of a sudden, people are saying, you've got to go here, you've got to go there, you're not allowed to go there, you're not allowed to go there. And it was weird, and it changed everything for us. It wasn't a good time to be a full-time traveler, that's for sure. And so we did the best we could, and we had a great time doing it, and we spent as much time as we could in the wilderness. That's what I tell people. Where did you spend your time during the crazy times? Way up in the mountains. So it didn't affect us up there.
When will you be coming to Texas? Ooh, we hope soon.
Yeah.
We love Texas, as you know. I have family there and really good friends and people like all of you. So yeah, I'm really excited to go there. We all are. So hopefully soon.
What type of camping fridge do you recommend, Snowmaster or Nomadic? We've never used a Nomadic. We have a ARB and a Snowmaster, and we love our Snowmaster. It's our favorite, and it works as a cooler. You can put ice in there even if you're not plugged in, and it'll last for days. So we're going with Snowmaster on that one. What type of GPS collar do you use for Lando? It is Garmin Sport Pro. It gives us the ability to, he's a hunting dog, so he follows his nose. Even though he's pretty good that way, he'll stay with us. But we do a lot of backcountry trail running where he likes to go out in front. But if he smells a grouse or a pheasant or something like that, he might be tempted to wander off into the bush. And then that allows us, for his safety, to just create an audible sound. If he's outside of our whistle distance, so we can't whistle loud enough, he won't hear us. It basically whistles for him on his neck, and he goes, oh, wait a minute, I got distracted by my nose, I need to go back. And he'll turn around on a dime, and he'll come right back. So that thing's been a great addition to our kit.
How far out do you plan your trips and spots, or are they
spontaneous?
Yeah, spontaneous. I think spontaneous.
Very
Sometimes they're
spontaneous.
planned, but they change because we'll meet someone local and they say, ah, you got to go here or there. Yeah, so they're constantly changing.
Yeah, quick example, if you were watching the last bunch of videos, we were actually right here on this desk planning what we were going to call our desert series. And we mapped it out with Clay and Rochelle Croft, who are the experts at expeditions. And we said we're going to go here, here, I think, then there, and down to Arizona, and then come back up this side. But as soon as we got down there, the first couple of plans worked, and then everything changed. We said, hey, we're not too far from Vegas. We're going to go to CVT. We ended up going down to Vegas, and then we said, well, while we're here, we might as well do Death Valley in California before it gets too hot. So our entire trip changed. It was awesome. It turned out amazing, but it was nothing like what we planned when we were here. So we're very spontaneous. What's the plan with the KTM 690s? This video is about that, you'll see. What's a good internet service for overlanding? That's a constant issue, but we, in the States, in the west side, we get a Verizon Rocket Pack or hub, and that's given us the best coverage, but there are tons of places where you have no coverage. So they are coming out with some satellite things. I'm not sure I'm super thrilled about that, because the beauty right now, and this might not be the case in 5 years, but right now there's still places you can escape Wi-Fi and cell coverage. But yeah, for now, Verizon works great on the west side of America. In Canada, we used Bell on the west side. So you just have to do your research and find out who has the best coverage in the areas you want to go. Have you guys ever been to Egypt before? No, we haven't.
Would love to.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question about how do you go to the bathroom in the middle of nowhere? I mean, everything from as simple as just digging a hole, depending where you are, but to we have a privacy tent and what is called a thunderbox. It's very comfortable, easily folded out toilet. If you're 200 feet away from a water source, you can dig a hole and bury it. We do also have pack out bags and that we could use if needed, and we have biodegradable bags that just disappear and become part of the soil. So it's easier than you think, but if you want complete luxury, thunderbox and a nice little privacy tent, and you can sit there and read a book and enjoy yourself. How often do you shower and how? So we have a couple of things. We have a pump-up shower, which we've shown in a video, and I'll put a link to that video. Another one is a gravity feed, solar heated. It's a black bag that heats up in the sun, and you can take a nice shower there. We go wash in rivers and lakes if we're in the wilderness. And then finally, every week and a half or 2 weeks, we'll stop at a KOA campground, that type of thing. Then we're guaranteed a clean, hot shower, which is a nice luxury. And we also do laundry at the same time, and we can use their Wi-Fi to upload videos. All right, question. Do you have issues with your Jeeps leaking water when it rains? I hear that happens a lot. Not really. I mean, if it starts raining, we're not going to get wet. But we did leave our Jeeps one Jeep in storage, and it did leak a bit then because it was constant rain for over a month. And it could have been that we didn't put the Freedom tops on properly or something. But in general, we drive through rain all the time and we don't have leaks. All right, the next question is, would you ever consider doing an epic family road trip cookbook? Something with all the meals that we cook and so on. Yes.
And I really, really like how you put it, because it's for quick and easy meals, more elaborate and
quick snacks.
Quick snacks. Yeah, that's awesome, and that gave me a lot of good ideas. So thank you for writing that to me,
Daniela.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
That was great, and now I have like little light bulbs going off. So yeah, I'm super excited, and thank you so much for your help with that.
So we've been recording some of the recipes, because the beauty of the way Carol cooks is we work with the food we have, because you're not always close to a grocery store. And so she's going to include, you know, if you have this, here's the basic recipe, but you could substitute that for that or whatever. So a lot of stuff in the works. Caroline's taking pictures of the meals for the cookbook, and Carol's working on the recipes, and then we'll try to include stories of where we were that inspired the meal. So keep your eyes open for that in the future. Here's a question. Do you guys have days where you don't get along? You know, like many families on vacation together.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, here's part of the answer, and Carol can answer as well, but the difference is we're not on vacation together. This is our lifestyle, so I think what happens to families a lot of the time is that they're used to being off on their own and doing all kinds of things and off with their friends and at the gym and at work and at school, and they hardly get together. And then they get on vacation, all of a sudden they're just, for 1 week, they're crammed into a car, and that's when everything comes out. Well, we had that years ago when we first started, and now that it's a lifestyle, we've learned to work together. So yes, every once in a while someone will have an issue, but they deal with it so super quickly. They don't hold grudges. 20 minutes later, it's a thing of the past. So that's the beauty of this. It's not a vacation we're on. It looks like a vacation to everyone, but it's a lifestyle.
I hope it looks that way.
Yeah, and it feels that way. I read a quote years ago when I was working every single day and we weren't able to take vacations, and it said, go to work on designing a life that you don't need a vacation from. And we've kind of hit that. So how do you train Lando to run in front of the Jeeps? We'd love to do that with my dog one day. Jason, great question. Funny thing is, we didn't train him to do that. We didn't spend any time on it. He's such a runner. There's nothing he loves more than running. So when he got the opportunity to run, he just started going, and we tried to keep up with him. So, and then he got into the habit, and he learned how to stay the proper distance away from vehicles. And that's really how we trained him to do that, just by doing it.
It's kind of fun because we'll be driving on pavement, and the minute we hit a dirt road, he wakes up and he starts whining. He's ready to go, and so he kind of knows the difference. He'll go right to sleep when we're on pavement, and when he gets those bumps and underneath the tires, he's
up and just raring to go.
And in the mornings, it's fun. I'll start the car, especially Vandy. He knows the sound of Vandy, and he'll be sitting there almost like doing the pointing position, ready to rock.
So the only thing to keep in mind when you're doing that is just know where you are, know what kind of traffic, and typically we do that where there is almost no traffic. We haven't seen anybody in hours, and that gives us the confidence to let them go. So obviously trafficked roads, it's not safe. And then the other thing I would say is the Garmin comes in handy if he wants to wander. He's learned not to wander because he knows the vehicles keep going, and if he wanders, he'll get lost. And he's a mama's boy, and he doesn't want to be too far away from mom, so he always comes back. But that little beep in the beeping sound will get him or her, your dog, on track if they wander. All right, Carol had to step out, so I'm going to go through as many questions as I can on my own here. So that question was about saving up for retirement. So we sold everything we owned pretty much and took most of that money and put it into savings, into private equity and so on, which you do your research on that, but it's a great way to put away money for the future. But we have learned how to make an income while on the road, and so there's a lot of families that ask us about doing what we do and want to live this kind of lifestyle, at least for some time. And one of the first things we tell them is you need a way to make money. Even if you have money, you know, that you sold a home or something, that eventually will run out if you don't learn how to make money on the road. So yeah, that'd be our advice. Here's a question about do the kids all kind of cross train with the production on your channel? It'd be great to see them all take turns narrating or being the main person on camera. So we encourage everyone to focus on what they're interested in, but also dip into things that are outside of your comfort zone. So it's really up to them. The opportunity is always there, but each of them have kind of moved into the niche that they're interested in and good at. But being here, working at Overland, doing a training program with them and kind of an internship has helped them branch into areas that they normally wouldn't get into, and that's been a great source of learning. So here's a question from Myanmar. When can we see you guys on the Expedition Overland channel? I believe those videos from their last expedition, which the kids were a part of, will be released in October, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome. How do you stay dry when it's raining? Are the rig mount awnings sufficient, or do you also have tarps to create a bigger cover? Great question. We spent the winter in the Pacific Northwest in the rainy season, so we dealt with a lot of rain, and the awnings on the vehicles are great. They do the job, but that being said, if we had people over or we needed a bit more space, then the tarps are handy to have. You can kind of create a bit more of a camp, but we're typically moving pretty quick, so we don't set up too much infrastructure. So we rely heavily on the awnings on our vehicles if we want to sit outside in the rain and stay dry. And then the tents have the rain covers on them, and that's been great. Tents, soft shell tents that we had up there got really wet. We did end up with some mildew problems, but because there just was no place to escape to dry them off, so they just were wet for long periods of time. We'd use our Mr. heaters inside to dry them off every single day, and you'd see the steam coming off them, and they'd get dry, but not fully dry, just because it would start raining again. So high rain areas, it's just extra tarps would be a great consideration for sure. But it was an unusual situation because we weren't able to travel, so that's unique, and I don't think that's going to be the case in the future, and it certainly hasn't been the case in the past. In the past, if it's raining, we move on and we'd drive as long as we had to hit sunshine and dry out. So good question. All right, so that ends this Q&A. If you feel like your question hasn't been answered, go ahead and leave a comment on the video and we will try to get to it. And just something about comments, there was a time when we were able to answer every single comment, and then we just got to the point where we're off grid a lot, and by the time we come back there's hundreds and we get behind. So we just want to assure you that we read every single one of them, and even if we don't have time to go and like your comment, we do like them and we do appreciate them, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Stay tuned for next week as we explore around Montana, and as the guys get used to their vehicles and start building them out. Make sure you follow and subscribe to the Adventure Guys. There will be a link below. That's Daniel and Pete's new channel, and there's not much content on there yet, but there's going to be a lot of great stuff, and you're not going to want to miss their adventure as well. And in the meantime,
We'll see you down the road.